All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother DeQuar from the DC camp, coming back at you with another lesson. Um, it's going to be a quick lesson. It was about something that I was listening to this song, and it was called "No Nigga Like Me," and by the guy Nipsey Hussle, and he had mentioned, um, he said, Slauson Ave, I made a lot of moves because I'm an African that think like a Jew. Which, hey, first of all, we not Africans. I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and not just the Negroes in the Americas. You Haitians, all right. Any of you Islanders, okay. You are. They throw you in that same pot as the Negroes, and we are actually the Israelites, all right. Now they give a lot of our people, especially in like the entertainment industry, the rappers, they give the so-called Jews a lot of credit when it comes to their riches. It was another song by the guy 21 Savage, which the song was ASMR, something like that. He said, "We've been getting that Jewish money. Everything is kosher on God." And LeBron James, he had who they call the King James. He had posted that on his Instagram, and he been receiving backlash. That's why you can see it on this news thing, you know. And this is a few months ago, you know. But he was receiving backlash because so-called Jews, they try to say that they receive. That's part of the reason why they persecuted, because of the stereotype. It ain't no fucking stereotype, you know. They actually got all the money, you know. Actually, and Meek Mill, he came to the defense of 21 Savage when he received the backlash because he had to apologize for it. Just like they take down our videos when we say anything about the so-called Jew. You know, it's Meek Mills. He was like, Jews have always owned everything in our culture, from record labels, our favorite teams, our neighborhoods, our clothing. It has always been a compliment to say we was getting money like them, from knowing the history of them that overcame. Oh, Salat. Um, he said to say we was getting money like them. Sorry, to say we was getting money like them from knowing the history of them overcoming hatred, which is funny because they got their money by wicked means. When you go into this stuff back then, like money lending and the professions that the what they call the European Jews was doing back then was frowned upon by the so-called Christians, man. Which just proves that they the Edomites, man, because the so-called Christians regarded their occupations as incompatible with their faith, man, with their principles, um, uh, because it was unethical, so to speak. You know, the way they gained their wealth. But Jake, the one who are the ones who actually gaining wealth by overcoming the hatred, man. You know. Also, Jay Z, he had mentioned on one of his songs, "Story of OJ." You want to know what's more important than throwing away money at a strip club? Credit. You ever wonder why Jewish people own all the property in America? This is how they did it, And he received backlash for that, But it was pretty much talking about how uh, Jewish so-called Jews property ownership, you know, them being wealthy and controlling the financial institutions is common knowledge, man. And they prominent in media and finance. And that's just a few quotes from rappers, man. They also quote having a Jewish lawyer. And all these things is true, man. you know. But let me get this, because it's funny, because this is supposed to be us, man. Let me get Jeremiah. This is, it's all about. Let me just get it. This is Jeremiah. Damn, I think I went to the. I went past this. This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." Yeah, so that's talking about you Israelites. You was discontinued from your heritage. Your heritage was the ways of the Lord, man, which would have put you on high. Okay, so-called white man, they don't listen to the ways of the Lord. They got their inheritance from robbery, man. You know, from usury. When the scriptures tell you not to exact usury. All right, but if we would have hearkened to the Lord, we would have had wealth, and I'm gonna get into that. But we was discontinued from the ways of the Lord. The word discontinue is shamat. Shamat means to release, let, drop, or loose, or rest, or fall. To let, drop, or fall. To be made to fall down. To be thrown down. All right. That's what the word discontinue means, and we've discontinued from our heritage. And then heritage is nachal nachalach, meaning possession, property, inheritance, portion, and and that's what we was given. But we discontinued from that, and to the point where now uh, we have to gather ourselves, the lost sheep of the tribe of Israel, the houses of Israel, Salakia. You know, um, let me get that. That's Matthew 10. Matter of fact, uh, this is Matthew 10 and verse 5. It says, "These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Because what you're going to find out is that the scriptures, hey man, it tells us how to be a nation, how we should deal amongst each other, man. It's not for everybody. The scriptures talk about how you shouldn't give that which is profitable unto you unto another, man. You know, the Lord is actually a separatist, man. He's for his people. Scripture say that he dealt not so with any other nation, man. Let me get that. Let me get it. I don't think I'm wording it right. What was that scripture? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to think of it. Okay, this is Baruch 4 verse 3. It says, "Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto you to a strange nation." So we not supposed to do that, man. It says, "O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High is made known unto us." Yeah, so he was near unto us, man. Which brings me to this. This is Deuteronomy 4 and verse. I start from verse 4. It said, no. I start from verse 5. It says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh, my power, commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it." And this is Moses speaking to the Israelites, all right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans back then, because you are the true descendants of the Israelites, man. You know? And that's what he taught you, because he only taught us, his ways. It says, "Keep therefore and do them." He said something. Yeah. "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." See that? So if we was to do all these things, the statutes and commandments of the Lord, that's what exactly how Jake looks up to them. It's how the rest of the nations look up to them. It's how they would have been looking up to us, man. See, people look up to them because of the power that they have, man. They known pretty much for, well, like I said, financial institutions and things like that. They known for keeping the money and inside their own communities, man. I also looked up. This was another article. It said it was from Pew Research, 2016, how income varies among religious groups, and it talks about how the Jews had the lowest percentage of households earning 30%. I mean, $30,000 or less, and the highest 44% earning more than $100,000. So they, for the most part, are good. And just like how the scriptures talk about, it should be no poor amongst our people. That's pretty much how it is with them, man. It says, and also something that says, "How can a tiny minority like the Jewish people who represent less than 1% of the world's population, uh, how can they be uh, who represent less than 1% of the world's population can be disproportionately so successful financially? What are their values? What valuable business lessons can we learn from them? See, and so people want to learn, like, why are they so successful? You know, and that's what it would have been for us. There was another article. I didn't save this one, but it was pretty much fucking Chinese, man. It said the Chinese is trying to learn. The Chinese is trying to learn. Matter of fact, because I think I got it written down. Yeah, China's search for the secrets of Jewish success. So all these nations is looking and trying to figure out how they become so prominent and rich, man. But see, that's what happens, man. The people is going to be like the rulers is, man. So they going to amass it. They going to seek to do it the way that the so-called Jews did it, which is by debt, man. This is I'm gonna keep going. Deuteronomy 4 verse 7. It says, "For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon Him for? And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day?" Right. You know, that's how they going the nations would have looked at us with admiration like that, man. You know, to have the Lord so nigh unto them, you know, they will look at us and say, what nation is so great? And it said that's how wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, man. But our people cast that off. Okay? This is what you're going to say. Only take heed, verse 9, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before Yahweh thy power in Horeb, when Yahweh said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, and that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And that's what we're supposed to do, man. You know, we're supposed to teach our children this. But guess what? During the slave trade, a part of that discontinuing of our heritage, okay, during slavery, we had our families separated and things like that, and it's still like that today. Now we got a crab in a bucket mentality, where also a part of the curses is that our eyes shall be evil toward our brethren, man. Teach. This is Sirach 30:3. It says, "He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him." Right. So when we teach our children the right ways, it grieves them, man. You know, they want us to go to their, because they had us assimilate into their schools, learn their customs, you know, and because what it was a quote that said that they don't want us to how'd it go? Pretty much saying that they don't want us to be critical thinkers. They want us to be workers. They want us to learn to work for them and not how to become successful on our own. They want us to be servants unto them. As the scriptures say, the servant is borrowed to the lender, man. You know? So they want to keep us in that dependent state upon them, man. You know? Now, this is how we should have done it. Now, you go into Deuteronomy 15, because look, I'm going to just get it. I'm going to just start from the top. This is Deuteronomy 15 in verse 1. It says, "At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth out unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called Yahweh's release." Yeah, so we had a year of Jubilee. We had release years where that you will have to release your brother of his debts. And it's going to go into it. It says, "Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is with thine brother thine hand shall release." Right. So, hey, to a foreigner, you could do that. Just like if you had a Hebrew slave, you could rule over. You're not supposed to rule over him with vigor, but a heathen you could, man. You know. So, hey, you got Jake got to learn how to treat each other again, you know, and that's what we're going to learn in the kingdom, man. Well, brothers starting to learn it now because the wisdom is coming back into us, man. It says, save when there shall be no poor among you, for Yahweh shall greatly bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Yeah, so with the real inheritance is the wisdom of the Lord, but with that came the land, and we're supposed to know how to deal with that land. It says, only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. For Yahweh thy power blesseth thee as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. And as you can see, this is the opposite. You know, right now, the so-called Jew is living that blessing, man. They pretty much tried to take our position, man. And that's why the scripture was talking about who would pity a charmer, man. Let me get that. In Sirach, the 12th chapter. I just want to get exactly what I wanted. Damn. I thought it was that. Where it pretty much talks about that he will want to take your spot, man. You know? Damn, it's not that same scripture. Okay. Yeah, that's not it. But that's hey, you got the this is a good one because they talked about the Jewish lawyers, right? This is Sirach 12 verse 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And that's how they do, man. Pretty much they want to be the ones where the scriptures say, bless all them that bless thee and curse all them that curse thee, man. You know? Oh. This is it. This is Sirach 12 verse 9. It says, in the prosperity of a man's enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity even a friend will depart. Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, because you got our people trusting these devils, man. You know? Same thing with the NWA and that Jerry fella, you know? And same with more people today, man. You had Nipsey Hussle trusting the so-called Jew guy. Anyways, this is Sirach 12 verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. See? And that's what they did. They wanted to take our place, man. So let me go back. This is Deuteronomy 15 verse I just read verse 6 where it says that no nation shall reign over us. But we know according to the curses, the curses that we have became the tail and not the head, man. You know? Deuteronomy, let me see. I'm going to start from 12 because this is the part of the blessing. Then I'm going to go to the curse. Deuteronomy 28 verse 12, it says, Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto the land in his season, and bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And that's when the first 15 verses talk about the blessings that we should have received if we hearken. And then the rest of that Deuteronomy 28th chapter talks about the curses. One of them is verse 44. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him, and he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. See? You know? So that's what happened, man. I also got Proverbs 22:7, the one I quoted. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. So they want to keep you poor, man. And they're not going to give up what they have, because if you gain, that means they're losing, man. You see? But we supposed to be high above them, man. You know. Let me read verse 13, Deuteronomy 28:13, because we just said I just read verse 12. All right. Verse 13 says, "And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them." So that's what we were supposed to do, man. You know, it starts with the wisdom first, as even Solomon, he asked for the wisdom, and then he got all the riches, man. All right. So let me finish this off. It's just something that I was thinking about, man, because you got Jake looking up to these devils, but that's really supposed to be you. See, you want what they have, but they wanted what you had, man. You would have had all these things. But you want to seek after their worldly wisdom, man. Verse 7. Deuteronomy 15, verse 7. "If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in the land, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother." And you got your man Steve Harvey talking about the best thing you could do for the poor is not be one of them. You know? When you had Monique, she was trying to speak with integrity, you know, and not go according to the so-called white man's ways, man. You know? Hey, nah, that's another lesson, man. I'm gonna keep going. It says, "But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth." Yeah, and there was a way that we dealt, man. Even with Jacob, Laban let Jacob work for him, and then he became rich that way. He worked for him for 7 years, and then another 7 years, man. He became rich. He had many possessions, man. You know. That's what we did amongst our people, man. If one was poor, and you didn't exact usury of him, you if you had it, you let him work, and then that's when he become sufficient, man. You know, we actually had an economy. All right, this is let me keep going. Verse verse 9. "Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against the poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto Yahweh against thee, and it be sin against thee." Yeah, you know. So you gotta give him what he do. And if he crying to the Lord, man, then that's gonna be it for you, man. The Lord gonna deal with you. Because at one point, hey, our eye was tender and delicate to our brothers, man. But now, we don't have that, man. We don't have a nation, man. We're a bunch of individuals, man. And that's what happened when we discontinue from our heritage, man. And keep going. "Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand to do unto." Yeah, the Lord trying to teach us how to be as one, man, as a nation. That's how we'll be above everybody, man. You know, just like the so-called Jews is doing. "For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in the land." Yeah, and that's what we were supposed to do, man. We had a so-called welfare system, man. You know? It says, and if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith Yahweh thy power have blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will, well, that's pretty much the point, you know, that I wanted, man. You know, hey, we had a way, you know, We had a way about us that the Lord gave us, man. And we would have been above all these nations, man. You know? So, hey, I didn't get too many scriptures, but you can, expound upon that. It was just something that I was thinking about when I heard that lyric, and I was like, yo, a lot of our people look up to them, but that's supposed to be us, man. That's the irony in this all, in the whole thing. So with that, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying. Went a little longer than I wanted to. Lord willing, that was edifying. Until the next lesson, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakadash, and I want to say Shalom.